Dear friends, how's your November going? When I think of November, there are a few things that come to my mind. The color of leaves turning red, gold, and brown. People changing into something that would keep them warmer. Family coming together for holiday shopping, holiday music, Christmas carol, getting ready for the end of the year, or perhaps the end of the year party. And the list goes on. It is definitely the time for change. Change of season, a change of colors, change of clothes, change of pace, and change of heart. And maybe change of perspective. That is why I love November. It is just so exciting because there is changes in the air. Bible mentions that there is time for everything and everything changes. Let me read for you from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. This is actually one of my favorite passages in the Bible. I'll read it for you. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and time to throw away. A time to tear and time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. As you see, there's time for everything. And this season is ordained by God. He is the one who's orchestrating. He's the one who is installing these different seasons in our lives. And there's nothing we can do to change him. In God's infinite wisdom, love, and power, and his sovereignty, he has ordained things to be the way they are. Just as spring comes after winter, God brings different seasons to our lives. And in his infinite wisdom, he decided and he thought that would be fitting according to his plan. There is a time that God honors us, but there is a time that God humbles us. So there are times that God really raises up really high. He raises up. But there are times that he makes us crumble down and he humbles us. There is a time that God surrounds us with people that we love, like friends and family. But there is also a time that God keeps us alone. There is a time to work. There is a time to rest. There is a time to speak up. But there is also a time to be silent. And there's nothing we can do about it. Because this is a season that God has ordained. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 9 through 10, the following two verses say, "What does worker gain from his toil? I have seen the burden God has laid on men." You see, Solomon, the author, is saying that it is the burden that God has placed on men. And it is not something that we can remove because it's such an inconvenience for us. But once that burden is laid on man, once that burden is laid on us, and God has ordained it to be so, there's nothing we can do about it. You see, the burden is laid on us by God. So the question is, then, what should we do? What should we do when we go through this, the season of extreme difficulties, or season of suffering, season of pain? So what do we do? If there's nothing we can do about it to change, and if that's something that God has ordained for us, if that is something that God has placed in our lives as a burden, what do we do? Are we just going to give up? You see, we are called to yield ourselves to Him. Yield ourselves to His timeline. We're called to submit to His authority. We're called to trust in Him and wait for His time to come. Wait for another season to come, because we believe, we trust in the Lord that God has every good intention for our lives. You see, waiting for His time takes trust. It takes faith. In Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6, it says, "Without faith, it is impossible to please God." So for us to really come to God and say, you know what, God, I trust in you. I trust in you that you are a good God. You have every good intention for my life. And you have ordained this season to be the way it is. And if there is nothing I can do, I submit to you. I submit to you. I submit to your authority. And I trust in your goodness. I know that you are a good God. I know you love me. You know, that takes faith. And that's exactly what God delights in. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11, the very following verse says, He has made everything beautiful in His time. You see, when we trust in Him like that, and when God's time alerts us that another season has come, He's going to make everything beautiful in His time. Yes, we have to remember that our God is a good God, and He so loves us. He only has good intentions for our lives. There is nothing that comes into our lives that He has not allowed. And when His time comes, He will make everything beautiful. He will make everything perfect. And there will come a day, as long as you just keep on waiting in Him, trusting Him, and submitting ourselves and yielding to Him. As long as we do that, and as we wait for Him, there will come a day that you'll look back and say, God, I see now. You've been trying to do this. You've been trying to do this all along. You're a good God. You're an amazing God. He will accomplish His good will through us and in us. So, dear friends, as the end of the year is rapidly approaching us, I want to remind you, our God is a good God. And I want us to return to the place where we can really, really fully trust in Him. Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." So your experience says otherwise. Your experience says maybe God is probably not out there. God probably doesn't love you. Everything's just going so chaotic. Everything's just so out of order. But I want us to be reminded that our God is a good God and He's in control. This year might have not been easy for some of us. Year 2025 was maybe very tough for some of us. But I want us to really hang in there, because His time is coming, and He's a good God, and He's doing something right now. So what do? Hang in there, stay strong, hope in Him, look onto Him, trust in Him, and wait for His time. Because He's going to make everything beautiful in His time. Everything's going to make sense. And it takes faith for us to wait. Look onto Him. When His time comes, all things will be made perfect.